I'll tell you what was cracking was this weekend. Okay, the weekend fights with Chris Eubank and Connor Benn. Now, that fight right there was a big surprise to a lot of people. Quite frankly, the reason why that fight was a serious surprise to a lot of people in the way that it had played out is going into it. Now, going into the fight, there wasn't really a lot of positivity going into it. There was a lot of controversy, as a matter of fact. Now, some of the controversies that have gone on prior to the fight was number one, the drug use of Connor Benn, or at least getting caught allegedly. That was not good. So it gave a bad taste to a lot of people. Also, Chris Eubank Sr. was also adamant in how negative this fight was for not only the career of his son, Junior, but also towards Connor Benn as well. So there wasn't a lot of positivity going into this fight. The same thing with Ian Garry and Prates, right? Now, that's a little bit of a different situation. Obviously, it's a situation where these two guys don't have family ties against each other or anything like that. This is a straightforward, I'm in the rankings, I'm trying to climb up the rankings, and you're the guy right up here, so we're going to fight as a result of that. That's what Ian Garry and Prates was. But I'll tell you what the similarities are between Carlos Prates versus Ian Garry and Connor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Okay, I'm going to talk about why those two fights are similar. And ironically, we're also in the same date of April 26, 2025, which was a great weekend of combat sports. Among other things that have gone on with combat sports this weekend, obviously the Pujanowski fight between Eddie Hall, that was exciting to have as an addition to this weekend. I think there were other events going on as well. Let me give proper respect to the events of April 26th, because I believe there was a bare knuckle FC card, and you can see how they're off and running with BKFC, right? They already got events going on similar to the UFC. So let's see here. When was this? Cherie Jet says, hi, how are you? How are you, my man? Spinaris says, hi, how are you? How's everybody that's already tapping in? So I believe the fight was in, okay, it was Chris Camozzi. Wow. Okay, so how about this? Chris Camozzi is now the cruiserweight champion of BKFC. Nishkok says, hey, bro, how are you? How was your day been? Very good, man. My day has been very good. Obviously, this has been a great weekend of combat sports that I was covering, and now here I am with you great folks to talk about this fight. If you guys can do me a favor in the chat, please hit the like and the subscribe button, okay? Where am I from, brother? I am from the United States, in particular, California. So shout outs to everybody from around the world. Shout outs to India. Shout outs to Europe. Shout outs to the UK. Obviously, I have a big fan base in the UK as well. Now I got a big fan base in India. So I want to thank everybody for all the support. Please hit the like button on the description below. And also, don't forget to share as we talk about this weekend's fights. And now that I got everybody here, let's talk about why this fight between Ian Garry and Prates is very similar to that of Connor Benn and Chris Eubank. Nishwak asks, what do you think who will win in Backlash, Cena or Randy Orton? That's a good question. I think John Cena is going to win it. I think obviously because what John Cena has going on right now is his last year or his last run as a WWE superstar. So what they're going to do is they're going to run him up and down the course only for, how do I say this, for let's say maybe Cody Rhodes to win it back again. So yeah, I think Cena can easily beat Randy Orton. I think that's how the WWE is going to write it. So, okay, why this matchup between Connor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. is similar to that of Ian Garry and Carlos Prates. It's really this simple. The favorite thought that they were going to have an easy fight. And as a result of that, unfortunately, it was a lot harder than what they would have expected. Shout outs to Oakley Bull. I'm not going to read your comment, but interesting comment nonetheless. Doesn't violate community guidelines, but it's just not something I'm going to read. But shout outs to Oakley Bull on that one. Surjit says, favorite Indian movie. Slumdog Millionaire, I think, is a good one. So yeah, last time is now. Nishank says, okay. So two favorites, Ian Garry and Chris Eubank Jr. They were expected to just walk these guys down, and as a result, what had happened? Well, they got a harder fight than what they would have expected, and there's good reasons for that. There's two different reasons why uh, Prates and Benn gave a hard fight to their opponents this weekend. In the case of Benn, it's obvious that Chris Eubank was drained. Chris Eubank was a little bit compromised. Obviously, he had to pay a fine, which, by the way, seems like a thing of the past now, right? Everybody's just concentrating on who won, which is obviously Chris Eubank, and they just go off of that. I got to tell you, this does wonders for Chris Eubank's portfolio profile, right? Much more than previously. Obviously, he had a lot of clout. He had a lot of name value behind him. So as a result of that, I think that they were expecting a whole lot more. Okay, they were expecting a whole lot more, but now they got way more than what they expected, and as a result of that, he's a bigger star than we had ever imagined. Nishank says, "Do you like Tribal Chief Roman Reigns?" Yeah, I think Roman Reigns is pretty cool. I think what Roman Reigns is going to do is he's going to finish his career and then go into acting. Ask me, are you from Vietnam? No, but I do have a lot of Vietnamese homies. I'm part Arabic and part Pacific Islander. Y 810, if you're asking. So, but yes. So, nonetheless, please hit the like button, hit the share button, so we could get good visibility of this show. Everybody on the chat, please hit the like button and the share button, and then we're going to continue on. There we go. There's one like right there. Give me another like, if you will. You have I don't know where you got that from, but okay, Y810. But yeah, doesn't seem. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where you get that assessment from, but okay, all the same nonetheless. So as we move on with this topic right here, right? Uh, a lot of people are now sort of downplaying Ian Garry's confidence. You see, a lot of people think that Ian Garry is cringe. A lot of people think that Ian Garry is CUCK because of this situation that he has going on with his partner. I will say this, right? This is what I will say about Ian Garry. I think that I obviously don't agree with his lifestyle. It's not something that I'm into or anything like that. But what I will say is that Ian Garry can fight regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of these notions that you have of, oh, well, this guy is this guy is that. I get all that. I get all that. But the kid can fight outside of his personal life that you or I may not agree with. The kid can fight. So you have to give him that proper respect. Nishank says, what do you think Roman will continue his heel character or will he switch to babyface? I think Roman is probably better off as a heel, right? So it worked out well for him. So I think they're going to stay at that. So shout out to Nishak for those questions right there. So a lot of people rub Ian Garry the wrong way, and I think it's the confidence factor. I'm going to tell you why that rubs a lot of people the wrong way when you're exuberantly confident. Now, most of the people around the world, I'm sorry to say, uh, have low self-esteem, and especially even more so now than ever. I'm telling you right now, the world is not a happy place. A lot of people are in shambles, right? Now we have some people here from India on the chat. You ask them Maybe some of them live pretty good lives. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of wealth from many Indians. At least that's within the Indians that live in the Western world. But when you go to India itself, there's a lot of poverty going on, right? And you have to think poverty will cause a certain level of depression. Uh, yes, there's a certain level of depression that comes with uh, destitution. Okay, that's just what it is. There's a lot of unhappiness that comes with destitution. So when you run across these people online, or when you run across them in a UFC chat page, they're going to deflect all of these emotions that they have that are negative, and then on top of that, uh, attack somebody that is more famous, attack somebody that is better looking, attack somebody that is more richer than you. Obviously, Ian Garry fits that criteria, right? And again, I understand that he does things that are cringy. I understand that he does things that are a little bit outside of the lines when it comes to a conventional, traditional life. But one thing remains a fact is that people are going to hate him for his confidence, because many people out there just don't have the confidence because they are going through a wild amounts of uh, calamities that are going on in their life. Um, Walden Brave 52 says, I'm also Indian. It's not a pretty good life. Walden Brave 52 says, it's just meh. Anthony Gio Vontae says, haha. And then Walden Brave 52 says the government would do anything but remove poverty. Well, I got to tell you, the majority of the reason why there is poverty in, let's say, countries like yours, or countries in Africa or other parts of Asia, or other third world countries out there in Latin America or elsewhere, the reason why all of these things are going on are a multitude of reasons. Obviously, there is an economic uh, hit piece that is going on, right? In other words, they make a country uh, take loans and then charge them interest later on to sort of hold them down for colonialism. I mean, that's one way to look at it. Walden Brave 52, colonialism says wrecked us of our wealth. Yes, and I think Africa can also vouch for that same thing, right? I think that I don't want to get too racial into this, but obviously there are certain nations that went out there and colonized the world, right? And sometimes for better or worse. And the worst part of colonization is obviously the poverty that comes to wreck that country, right? The lack of economic prosperity, the lack of opportunities, and things of that nature. So these things are a reality in that part of the world. So once again, when you deal with that, and also let's not make any uh unfair comparisons here. The United States has a lot of poverty as well, even more so now than ever before. Your WWE champion, your name, Ranjis Praz. Okay, I think you're looking at the WWE belt behind me. So yeah, I think that the reason why you see a lot of people that talk smack online, especially in the United States and also in Britain, bro, I'm telling you, I love the British. I have a lot of UK followers on my page here. I got a lot of UK supporters and things of that nature. But I'm going to be very honest when I say that the majority of people in the UK are haters. They are. You look at how people reacted towards Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, which, by the way, falls into the same subject as well. Many of them are haters because you look at somebody like Chris Eubank. He's a silver spoon kid. Conor Benn, he's a silver spoon kid. Assalamu alaikum, bro. RJ says. Shout out to RJ for that one. So when you look at two silver spoon kids like this, they are going to be a problem for people in the UK. The majority of people in the UK are working class. The majority of them are also in poverty. And there's very few people in the UK that are rich. Now, how do I know this? When you look at all the properties that are being bought in London, the majority of the owners are either Russian, rich Russians, Indians, sometimes Indians that are outside of the UK, not Indians that live in the UK, but also Indians that live overseas, sometimes even the United States, Indian Americans, not to be mistaken with Native Americans, but you know what I mean. RJ says, good night, bro. Good night. And I believe that it is nighttime in your part of the world. So shout out to you and thank you for tapping in. So now, when they look at somebody like Connor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., Silver Spoon kids, they look at them and they say, you know what? These two guys are the symbol of our problems. Yvonne Andrea says, what are you talking about again, bro? So, what I'm talking about is why many people out there in the combat sports chats are haters, because there's a high amounts of poverty that is going on in the world. And when you have that going on, it's really easy for you to go and hate other people. This is the reason in the UK we're really hating on Eubank and Connor Benn, because they're two rich kids. Okay, let's put that in perspective. Okay, these are two rich kids, and as a result of being rich, these people that have all these financial problems are going to look at them and say, you know what, I can't stand this guy. I can't stand Chris Eubank. I can't stand Connor Benn, because they lived in this life that I never lived. And then on top of that, in their adulthood, they're making even more money than their parents, due to the fact that their parents put them on boxing and then put them on a platform for their boxing to. Sorry about that. Had a little audio problem right there. Walden Brave says Britain didn't give any reparations to this day. Yeah, that's true. But what did happen, Walden Brave 52, as a result of that is, you notice there's a lot of Indians that live in the UK, and there's a lot of Indians now that are prospering even better than, let's say, the white British people, right? Look at who the prime minister was. You had Rushna, who was the prime minister. Even in the United States, you got a lot of powerful Indians now. Obviously, the vice president of the United States, J.D. Vance, his wife is Indian. And if you notice, J.D. Vance did do a tour in India to represent the United States as one of the top two leaders, and also talk with the prime minister of India. Now, why would they send J.D. Vance and not Trump itself? Obviously, because J.D. Vance probably has a lot more familiarity with that culture. And not just J.D. Vance's wife or his family members or anything like that. You also got Kamala Harris, but this is just the United States that I'm talking about, right? Now in England, they dominate. They dominate. Hands down, they dominate. And I think that was the cause of colonialism, because many Indians, and as a result of having to move out, they had to find, sorry, they had to find better opportunities, which, by the way, was in England. So they go to England, and then as a result of that, now they are in a position to own houses, own properties, own businesses, and also employ many white British people that otherwise would have been that they would have been subservient to on any other given time era of the British colonies, right? During the time of the British Empire and the colonies that they've accumulated all around the world. But yeah, that's basically the long-winded explanation as to why many British people are haters, and why a lot of them are very negative, right, towards anybody that is successful or anybody that does anything good. Now, look, here's the thing, right? I had a British dude come in here one time making comments about one of my workout videos. Big Ink says, "What's good? What's up, my man? How are you?" Shout out to Big Ink right there, my my moderator for this chat. Thank you for tapping in. And yeah, man, we're gonna get right to this, right? So, man, I almost forgot what I was going to say there. Okay, so I had a British guy. I'm doing good, my friend. That's awesome. Big Ink MMA. Shout out to Big Ink MMA right here. One of my biggest allies in this YouTube game. So, uh, okay, so what was I saying? I had a British guy come into my chat. He mentioned something to the effect of, well, why are you putting up all these workout videos or this and that? And I'm like thinking, you know what? I've never had a British fighter. I've never had a British MMA fighter, a boxer, or a British athlete ever tell me that. Now, why is it that he's telling me that? Well, let's be honest, right? If you're British and you're not an athlete, this is your life. You go to work, you go to the pub, you get messed up, and then you go to work, you go to the pub again, and you get messed up. And the next thing you know, 10 years later, you got a beer belly all the way out to here, and you're wondering why you're not in shape. You're wondering why you have high blood pressure. You're wondering why you have all of these underlying health issues because of the life choices that you make. So obviously, if you're a guy that's not physically active and you see somebody like myself who's physically active and actually puts it out on a video, puts it out on a live stream for the world to see, putting it all on the line, showing my athletic prowess, you're going to have a problem with that because let's just be honest, man, you're not doing that. So it goes the same way with the British public and how they view Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Now, look, they want to diminish these guys. They want to say, oh, well, this guy is a wanker. This guy is a spoiled kid. How many times are you going to use the silver spoon narrative to make yourself feel better about the hardships that you got going on and how easy it was for these guys? What it is, Big Ink MMA. He says here that they are not athletic. Some of them don't have the discipline you have. Am I muted now? Much better. Okay, awesome. Walden Brave says, I subscribe. Thank you so much, Walden. Also, tell everybody around the world to subscribe as well as we talk about combat sports and all the aspects that we can gain from learning in the stories of combat sports and how it can relate to the world. This is something that I want to offer to the MMA space of YouTube that is different, that is innovative, and that is fresh and new in that sense. So thank you for your subscription. But yeah, many of them are haters because obviously they don't go out and do it. So they're going to say that, oh, well, you're a wanker for this and this and that. What I was saying before, how many times are you going to use the silver spoon narrative to try and downplay the life and the accomplishments of Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn? Now, look, here's the thing you got to understand, right? Conor Benn, and Chris Eubank, did they have privileges in terms of being rich kids and then also getting into boxing? Of course. They had the resources to go to America to train to be the best that they can be. They had the best trainers in the UK, the best trainers around the world. And that is all due to the fact that their fathers had the connections and the money to do so. Walden Brave says, but I got to go now, bro. I have to eat dinner. See you next time. Okay, so it is nighttime in that part of the world. Shout out to everybody that has tapped in, and also shout outs to Walden Brave, my new subscriber to the channel. And yeah, man, let me know everybody that has subscribed, because I will shout you out if you do subscribe during a live stream or one of the videos and whatnot. So yeah, you can't use that narrative with Chris Eubank and Conor Benn anymore. You have to take into consideration that these guys at some point had to work on their own. Now, going in the ring, it is the most lonely thing in the world that you can do. Going in the cage, going in the ring, going in the mat, because even though you have all the support of your trainers, of your gym, of your family, you still have to go in there solo. And as a result of going in there solo, everything that you work for, everything that you try to accomplish is all on you. It is all on you. So for Chris Eubank and Conor Benn to get to this level, I don't think that's by mistake. Now, did they get help? Yes. We cannot deny that. but we also can't deny the work that they've done. Big Ink asks, was Conor Benn's fight very close? Didn't get to catch it because of Kansas City. Well, good question, man. So the fight started when the fight ended. That's when the first fight of the UFC had started, right? It was literally like within the same sequence of motion, right? Like as soon as Chris Eubank and Conor Benn ended their fight, they were back in their corners, and the next thing you know, it was a first round KO in the first fight of the UFC, which I believe was a women's fight, which we will get to in a second. So the fight wasn't very close, although the fight was very exciting, right? And that's sort of the theme that I have with this whole live stream is that Ian Garry and Chris Eubank were the two heavy favorites that overly underestimated their opponents only for those opponents to give them a good fight. What I will say is that both fights were not even close at all. They were not close, but they were aggressive and they were entertaining and they were very dangerous. Inotu Achumi says, hello. Hello, brother. How are you, man? Inotu, let me know what part of the world you are from. And also, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. How are you, man? Hope you are doing well in whatever part of the world you are at. So, moving on with Ian Garry and Carlos Prates, right? Very similar fight to that of Conor Benn. Well, now this fight has become a British classic, and many people out there have all sorts of opinions on this particular fight, and that I understand, but here's something you got to understand, okay, as a result of this, right? Okay, what did Big Ink here say? I really like how Garry was able to mix in takedown striking. He had a good game plan. Oh, he did. He did. And you know what? A lot of people don't realize that Ian Garry has takedowns, right? He's a mixed martial artist. Now, Dana White said something to the effect of, well, it's not like Ian Garry did anything that was different or some MMA shit or this and that. He basically went out there and had a stand-up fight with him. And Ian Garry at 6'3" and somebody who has been striking for a long time, probably started striking before he started grappling, right? That's the type of MMA fighter he is. Sort of implemented that game plan, right? So here's something that I think is really interesting about Ian Garry in this particular setting, right? I don't think we learned anything new about Ian Garry. I think what we've seen out of Ian Garry was the same thing out of Shafkat. The only difference is that he was able to do this a whole lot better against Prates, more than he was able to do it against Shafkat. And I don't think that's breaking news in any kind of way. Also, I didn't really learn much about Ian Garry in this fight. What I learned was that he will do the same thing, fight in range, fight in distance, and if he sees an opening with a takedown, he's going to take it. But more so, he's going to keep you at a striking-centric fight, and that's just really all there is to it when it comes to Ian Garry, right? He's a striking-centric fighter and knows how to fight within distance. Yeah, Ian Garry seems to like point fighting. He does. And you know what? This is how I sort of saw this fight. I think I predicted this fight as a 5-round decision, just like how I predicted it was going to be a 12-round decision for Chris Eubank and Conor Benn. Why? Because, look, Conor Benn going into the fight was undefeated. He was very hard to finish, okay? And he's got a hard chin, and then you can probably add on to the fact that him taking steroids is probably a factor into being able to take these shots a whole lot better than the average person, right? So I knew that was going to go into 5 rounds. Carlos Prates, even though he has quit several times before, you know what? I take that back. I don't think I predicted. I think what I had predicted was that it was going to be a finish in the late champion rounds. I think that's what I had predicted. I think I had predicted a late round stoppage, but obviously that's not what happened. However, I think Prates showed that he was a lot tougher than what we had expected. And just like Conor Benn, I thought he was a lot tougher than what we would have expected. Now, how is it that I knew that this fight was going to go into a 12-round decision with Chris Eubank and Conor Benn. Again, because Conor Benn has a chin, he's undefeated, and the only way Chris Eubank was going to beat this guy was through his experience. If I remember correctly, Ian Garry wobbled Prates with an uppercut and almost finished him. Yes, correct. But also, Ian Garry almost got finished as well in the fifth round, if you notice. It was one of these situations where Prates was coming in very late, right? Johnny come lately type of situations where he could have done this early in the fight, early in the round, but he chose not to or couldn't because of Ian Garry's will. But nonetheless, he was trying to mount an offense later on. And here's another thing that a lot of people are criticizing Ian Garry for, right? Something that I've noticed in a lot of comment sections around different YouTube spaces and whatnot. They were saying that Ian Garry looked tired at the end of the fourth and fifth round. I mean, this is what people are looking at as a sense of, you know what, Ian Garry is not as good as what we thought he would be. Why? Because he looked tired in the fourth or fifth round. I don't understand that. I don't understand how is it that somebody who is fighting one of the top fighters in the world, somebody who's an up and coming prospect, okay, all of a sudden you're saying that he gassed out? How? He's in a 5-round fight against a very tough opponent. I think he dealt with it well in whatever adversity he was dealing with in that current moment of time. Big Ink MMA says, if Prates had a better fight IQ, he could have definitely finished him. I think the short notice caused Ian Garry to gas out. I think that's a factor. I think that is a factor. Look, I think peaking in a fight is very important. I trained with Dustin Akbari, right? He is the top grappling coach for Team Alpha Male, right? Top grappler. He fought in MMA. He had a fight against Evan Dunham. He lost, and then he never went back into MMA. But prior to that, he had an undefeated MMA record up until he fought Evan Dunham. And then afterwards, Dustin Akbari just stayed in jiu-jitsu. He was doing jiu-jitsu matches and competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments and did really well. So he said to me that it is important to peak your body every time you go into a fight. This is why very few people in Team Alpha Male took short notice fights. Very few people. I think Chad Mendez was probably one of the few that did it, and then it kind of showed what happens if you are stepping in there at a short notice. So yeah, for a short notice fight, Ian Garry did incredible. He did absolutely incredible for somebody that was in a short notice fight. But on any regard, yeah, man, that was what it was. It was Ian Garry who had to gas out because of this situation alone, right? Stepping in there at a short notice, obviously not ideal. Prates had all the opportunities. He was preparing for Jeff Neal. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But you know what? This isn't the last that we're going to see out of Prates. Here's the thing with Prates, right? I think he needs to make better life decisions. This whole entire thing of smoking a cigarette, drinking, and this and that. Look, I understand there's guys in Thailand that can fight like this. There's plenty of Muay Thai fighters that smoke cigarettes. It's the most insane thing ever. And I think I know why. Look, in Muay Thai, you can get away with fighting in a very rested space. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're squaring up, right, got my little Muay Thai stance right here. You're squaring up. What's happening is that you have some distance between you and your opponent. You're not in a constant state of battle every second, right? When you're in wrestling, that's why they call it anaerobic, because you're in a constant state of trying to exert an effort, trying to push, trying to pull, trying to swing, trying to explode. That's anaerobic pressure, right? I think that him engaging in this kind of lifestyle is going to, I think it's going to hinder his wrestling. Because if there's one thing that you need in MMA, it is wrestling. You need to have wrestling in order to win. So that's what it is by the end of the day, right? He needs to have, the proper wrestling to do so. Let me go show you guys something real quick. Okay. Can you tell me about the moment when you decided to come to this fight for your son? I was always coming to the fight. I'm always supporting my son. I'm his fan. How proud are you right now? With a performance like that, that's showing grit. That's showing perseverance. That's showing love. It's the heart. He's in for a penny. He's in for a pound. Gentlemen, I have to go in and see my son. All right, so I just wanted to show you the reaction of Chris Eubank Sr. Big Ink says, I agree with the statement. If you want to go far, you need to cut out the negative things, and Garry is surely doing the right thing. Correct. Garry, yeah, man, Garry is a consummate professional, right? And I think that is the difference between him and these other fighters. Dr. Provolio says, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in terms of Conor Benn and Chris Eubank? I think right now, Chris Eubank Sr. is saying he doesn't want a rematch, but there is a good chance that they will rematch at some point, especially when things die down, especially when they start talking smack to each other again on social media. I think there's a great possibility that they will do this rematch, especially when they see their paycheck out of this fight and the demand that they are going to have on this fight. Who is he? I don't understand. Usyk and Dubois had a face-off. They did? Okay, let me look that up. They had a face-off. I never seen him. Sorry, Dr. Okay, shout out to Dr. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Let me see here. Dubois and Usyk face-off. I didn't know they had a face-off. That's interesting. Okay. So where is this face-off right here? Oh, is this? Oh, okay, right here, right here. Okay, I see it. I see it right here. All right, good, good. I like it. I like the little shove going on there. My name is Nisa, but sorry. Yeah, yeah, no problem. No problem, my man. Let me know what part of the world you are from. Okay, what did from Ukraine, Alexander I'm undisputed from Ukraine, Alexander He's trying to say Usyk what's his name? Jay Uso and Roman Reigns say Uso. He's saying Usyk. I can't wait for the rematch. Yeah, especially because I got Dubois on that. Kosovo, ever heard of it? It is my country. It is not known. Oh yeah, I know about Kosovo. Nisa, shout out to you, my man. Shout out to everybody in Kosovo and all that, man. I definitely know about your country. So shout out to you and shout out to everybody around the world that is tapping in. So what else do we have going on here? Okay, so we got Dubois. Let me take a look at. Let me take a look at my details here, just so. Thanks. Love you. Love you too, man. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button as well, Dr. If you can, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. So we talked about how this is an instant classic. Winners of April 26th. Okay, Ian Garry in his 5-round decisional protest. Easy. Oh, okay. How about this? Canelo and Scull versus Canelo versus Scull, and then Garcia versus Raleigh. I believe they had a face-off. I'm going to play the audio of the face-off between Romero versus Garcia. The face-off here. Well, let's go with this right here. Okay, so they got 16 minutes of this face-off. So let's play this right here.
Private investigator Jack Bergen had just stated his limit. I know you better than you know you at this point. I know everything about you, and you know that. Why would I know? I know everything about you. Do you? I truly do. That sounds like you're in love with me.
Thank you, DR. Hit the subscribe button, DR.
Worldwide and in the heart of New York City. Two of the biggest punchers in boxing.
Shout out to you. Shout out to DR from Kosovo for subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to let your friends know about my channel as well. Anybody that is an MMA enthusiast, a boxing enthusiast, combat sports enthusiast. And we also talk about geopolitics and everything in between here. So,
47-pound fight when Ryan Garcia takes on former 140-pound champion Rolly Romero. That will happen on May 2nd.
Thank you.
Today, they face off.
So from what I understand, this fight is going to be in, I believe, Times Square, New York. I think that's interesting. They got a fight going on in Times Square, New York. You can't buy a ticket for this. It's one of those first come, first served type of things. So if you're there early, you get front row. It's one of those types of things.
Ryan, been a year since we've seen you back in New York. How's it?
And it has been a year since Ryan has been suspended. Now he is back in action. So let's see. Yeah, let's see how Ryan does after that 1 year layoff. I think he did have an exhibition fight or one tune-up fight before this, but yeah.
How does it feel to be back here? It feels good. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment because all of the stuff that transpired after. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited to be back in the ring.
DR says, can we talk about football? What is your, I'm a Manchester City fan. Let me know what your favorite team is.
Rolly's.
Sinha says, hi, how are you? Let me know what part of the world you are from. Ronaldo. So you're into the Portuguese team, or are you into the team that Ronaldo currently plays for in Saudi Arabia? Richard MFC 1986 says, hi, how are you? Thank you for tapping in. WWE Cody Rhodes. Okay, I guess you're a WWE fan. Magic Musaya, Omar Marouche. Is that who you are? Is that Omar Marouche? Let me know if that's who you are, Magic. Al Nasser, please, can we talk about that? In a second. We will in a second, but we are in high demand for talking about boxing and MMA right now. So, and for those of you that want to get my take on, okay, I don't know what he means by that. Okay, thanks. So if you want to hear my take on Ian Garry, this fight this weekend, and how I compare it to each other in terms of two favorites that basically became a much harder fight than what they had expected, yet rewind all the way from the very beginning. Your favorite player in the WWE, don't really have one, bro. You said you are a Manchester City fan and you don't know who Omar Marouche is. No. I know who Omar Marouche is. I have a friend with that same name, and I thought you were him. That's why. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, it's a very common name, Omar Marouche and all of that. So Ronaldo, Paris. Okay, so you are from Paris. Okay, so shout outs to Sinha from Paris right there. So Och Banks Gaming says Houston Dynamo would destroy any other football club. Oh, okay. Sorry to interrupt. How many subscribers do you have? I have 100.